Yo, what's good with it? What's hood with it? Y'all know who it is, man. Your boy Alias back with another hot one popping like fish grease fresh off the skillet. Y'all already know. I know y'all feel it. Man, introducing the big bro. Y'all already know, man, my brother from another mother, same daddy. I got that from him. You feel me? Straight like that,
Facts.
man. Well, bro, Earth One in the building, man. Go ahead and shout yourself out, man. Let them know.
Yo, what up? What up? Earth One, catch me everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatnot. Especially whatnot. Catch me on whatnot. Earth One.
You feel me? Earth One, you know
Facts.
what I'm saying? Collect cards and comics and collectibles and more, you know what I mean? So we just go jump
Facts.
straight into it, man. This is the bro right here, man. We talking about the recipe on the whatnot. So that way, if y'all want to become sellers on there, if y'all want to become bars, if y'all see something on there y'all like to cop, we gonna give y'all the ins and outs of the routine and the motherfucking skull, how to do that, just to let y'all know. So just started off, Earth, man, let everybody know how you got started, even popping on the whatnot, bro, before we get into the recipe.
I really got started at it was a side hustle for real. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really even a side hustle. It was just something fun to do on the side type shit. You feel me? So like a friend of mine, he's on whatnot. He goes by was popping, and he was actually doing it, and he told me about the app. And I had just had surgery, so I had plenty of time. I was at home, you know what I'm saying, on medical leave for my job. So he was like, I know you collect a lot of shit. There's this app called Whatnot, and you could, you got enough stuff, you could sell it. Like, because I've always had a garage full of like comics and cards and all kinds of this stuff. So I was like, man, ain't nobody studying that. Like, this shit sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hearing it, like, Whatnot, like, what? But like I said, I had plenty of time on my hands, so I checked it out because he was like, "Bro, I'm making $800 a day, $500 a day. I made 1,500 yesterday." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "On the app? How quick do it hit your phone?" You know what I'm saying? Like this, the normal questions we all ask. You dig?
Right, right.
Like, okay, I hear about the money, but like, how do you get it? You know what I'm saying? The same thing everybody asks me: How do you get it? How quickly does it come? What do you have to do? So, boom, I got on there and I looked, and it's pretty much just an auction site. It's called Whatnot, and you can set up a seller account, and you can pretty much sell anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I've shown you, people go from selling Funkos to cards to Pokemon cards, videos, DVDs, stamps. Like I see people selling baby clothes by the pound. You know what I mean? So like the app, I try to tell people all the time, the app has so much potential. But that's getting a little off subject. So anyway, I got started by the homie. He put me on, and yeah, I got on there and was like, fuck, I can sell a couple comic books, whatever. I sell a couple, you make a couple dollars, you make a couple dollars. No harm, no foul. And
Right,
that's pretty much
right.
how I started.
All right, let the people know once, you know what I'm saying, let the people know, how to set up their site, you know what I mean, so on and so forth, so let's start with that recipe first as far as the setup, how to cook up, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's subjective. And what I mean by subjective is everybody's sauce ain't gonna taste the same. You know what I'm saying? When I make my spaghetti sauce, it ain't gonna taste like yours. It don't matter how much you want to stick to the recipe I give you. It ain't gonna taste the same. So what I tell people is find your niche. You know what I'm saying? Find your own little sauce, find your own recipe, find your own ingredients, and then you sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But I
right.
feel like I feel like you have to have some sort of personality on Whatnot, unless you have a large business.
Okay,
Because
okay.
there's a lot of companies, like real companies, brick and mortar businesses, mom and pops, and they're all starting to kind of jump onto the Whatnot craze now.
Th-
Like over the past couple of months. So
No, I got you. I got you. So,
that's what I would say. I would say, find what you want to do as far as selling. Find the thing that you're good at. Find the thing that you like. Find the thing that you collect. Maybe you have, that kind of thing. Like I said, I started because I literally just had like 10,000 comics just because I've been buying them forever. You know what I mean?
Right, right. All right. Let the people know, you know what I'm saying, what was your sauce? What you know what I'm saying, what did you cook up? How did you first start selling and what was the first thing that you started selling?
Well, I mean, the first thing I was selling was comics. You know, I was thinking, all right, well, I can sell comic books, and I've always collected comics and cards and shit. So I started selling comics, and I just set it up real small scale. There are people who do like, a full on showroom. And if you go to the app, you'll see, and they have like a full showroom. You can see them walking around and all that shit. It's all about camera angles. I only have it set
Right.
up so I just show the item. I don't show all that other stuff. I don't feel like that's necessary for what I do. Um,
No, I feel that. I feel that.
so yeah, I just show, I sell items in, single, or I sell things in bulk. And I just, yeah, I do it like that.
All
Like,
right. Let the people know, you know what
but
I'm
then,
saying? How did you find your niche? What really worked for you? You know what I'm saying?
well,
Or what did you feel like worked best for you?
well, I found my niche in adversity. What does that mean? So I was selling on Whatnot, and I was doing really well. You know what I'm saying? And I was just selling comics and shit. I was selling graded comic books, and like I said, the app is young, so as people join in, they sell the same thing that you sell. So after a while, if everybody's selling the same drugs, if everybody's selling the same weed, it ain't gonna cost the same. You know what I'm saying? Or they might not buy it from you. So I had to find another lane because the comic book market on Whatnot got way oversaturated.
Got you. Got you.
If that makes sense. If that makes
No,
sense. So
no.
yeah, I had been trying to think like, what can I do, to switch it up. So like I said, I've always been a collector of a ton of stuff. So like, when I was buying collections of comics and cards and shit, people have other things, magazines, books, Funkos, toys, wrestling figures, and I had got a bunch of I had got two bins of old Playboy mags, Playboy and Penthouse and shit, and yeah, I started selling them randomly one day, um, and yeah, I sold all of them. So I was like, well, damn, if I can sell all of these, I mean, I could get more, sell more.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I started selling, adult magazines and stuff.
So, like, for those that's just starting off, you know what I'm saying, starting wanting to jump in, start cooking up themselves, making their own recipe, let them know, you know what I'm saying, how did you decide what you wasn't just starting out bids to be, you know what I mean, things like that, because it is an auction site. So, you don't want to go too hard to where people ain't rocking with you, but you don't want to go too low to where you selling yourself short at the same time. So,
Right,
what
right.
did you
So
feel like was
that's
the perfect bid for you?
that's also subjective. You have to know your buyers, and you have to know the market, and then you have to buy well. That's a tip I tell people. You have to know how to buy whatever it is you're selling. You have to buy well, and that's in real. That's in business. That's in any business. If you're buying bluefin tuna for more than you can sell the shit for, then you hustling backwards.
No, that's facts. That's facts. You know what I'm
So
saying?
like, you have to know how to buy well. So I mean, really, with me is, I buy things in bulk. I try to buy things by the hundred or even by the thousand. So that way, you can always work out a good deal and get stuff for as cheap as possible. Like I can't really tell people what that number is because it won't be the same for me as it is for someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
again, you have to find the market that you're in, whether that's because we saw somebody selling baked goods, like their own home baked goods. You have to factor in your own costs, whether that's gas and ingredients. Do you want to pay yourself? And if you're going to pay yourself, do you want to include that in each one of your sales, or do you want to include that at the end of the month? So these are things that I can't personally tell someone, but they're just pointers that I could give you for you to think of what to do for yourself. Does that make
Right.
sense?
No, that's what we here for. You just giving them the recipe.
Right.
You know how they cook
Right.
it is up to them. You just giving them the recipe.
Facts.
Now
Facts.
let
Facts.
let the people know how long did it take for you to build your fan base. You know what I mean? Once you did start getting on your cooking.
Well, it took a couple months. It took a couple months. It wasn't something that happened overnight. That's another thing that I try to tell people as well, because we get people, I'll get people that come in my show, or they'll come in when I'm live, and they'll ask, hey, they'll ask for pointers. Hey, how do you do this? How do you keep people in your room? How do you, how do you do, how do you do your shipping? How do you do this? How do you do that? My thing would be to, like I said before, know your market. So go on there and see who's selling in the market you want to go to. If you're a person who has, you got 5,000 magazines that you inherited from your grandfather, okay, cool. Go online, go on Amazon, eBay, online sites, and see how much they're going for. Then you go online, go on your favorite auctioning site, whatever that site is, whether it's eBay, whatnot, fucking TikTok, Etsy, and you see what people are selling the items for, and that's kind of how you would build your price point, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And then, do you want to undercut everybody else? Like, there's a lot of factors in it, so that's why I say you kind of have to build your own sauce. You know what
No,
I'm
that's
saying?
facts. That's
So, like,
facts.
yeah, you can. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. So it's like, you could go on there and you can sell them off for $10 a piece, but could you afford to sell them for 8? So
Right,
that way you
right.
can, because that person who buys 2 for 10 or 2 at $10 a piece, they might buy 5 for 8 because it's only $8 and they're saving $2. You know what I mean? So you gotta, these are all kind of things you finesse when you start learning your own business as far as auctioning off on whatnot. Um, and that's only because these are the things that I've thought of and things that I've done personally. Um, yeah.
Okay. Now, when you started, what do you feel like? What was your strengths when you first started, and what was your weaknesses when you first started?
I mean, of course, nobody ever wants to say what their weaknesses are, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to even, it's hard to say what you're like what my strengths are on it, because I'm still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? This shit
Okay.
is a learning. It seems like a learning curve every day. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, like, every day I don't just make a million, $1,000 a day. Some days I'll only make 200. So, I'm still in the learning process sometimes myself. I do know what works best. Trying to keep fresh product. It's just like at a grocery store. You have product, it'll sell. But like, if you keep fresh product, you can sell that fresh product. You can mix in some of your old shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of ways. It's just like, again, you have to find what you want to go into selling and figure out a way to move all of it without having any leftovers.
Okay. Okay. Now, after you built your fan base, you said it took a couple of months. Now, once you built your fan base, how, you know what I'm saying, how was, you selling out the product? You know what I'm saying? How was the product moving for you?
Well, I bought a really large collection like a year ago. It was like 50,000 magazines, and they're like, you know, Playboy, Penthouse, from the most regular shit, which is Playboy, to the most like risque, like bondage magazines. Like, I bought, it was 50,000 of them. So I hit the ground running, and yeah, I was booming. But I saturated the Playboy market. Like I personally saturated the market. So if you go on the app, you'll see people running. I was just into somebody's show just now. He said he had been on for a half an hour and only sold 1 magazine. That's because I personally saturated the market. You know what
Right.
I'm
So
saying?
you
And it's a,
basically, you brushed everybody.
right, yeah. And I mean, I've sold so many. I just broke my like 40,000 sale. I sold so many on the app. Most people only come to buy them from me. And that's just something that I developed and I built over time. So,
Okay. Okay.
so
Now, let me ask you this. As far as being a seller on there, what do you feel like goes further? Do you feel like a pretty face goes further, or do you feel like a personality goes further?
I mean, if you had both, you'd be in the money. You know what I'm saying? If you had both, you'd be in the money. Statistically speaking, men just spend more money with women, period. I mean, people in general, because women are softer, women are pretty. So even women, they'll go to a boutique and they'll spend more money in a boutique with a woman than if it was a man who owned the boutique. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I
Right.
definitely feel like it's 100% like, if if you have an assistant or you have somebody who's running your show that is a woman, I feel like you'd probably sell at least 10, 15% more, whether that's more items or for a higher price, just because, you know, not necessarily sex sells, but pretty things sell, it just is what it is. That's
Now, I
just,
mean,
that's just the way of the world. You know what I mean?
that's real talk. I mean, how many busted females do you really see promoting on commercials? For makeup lines and clothing lines and
Exactly. And
stuff.
I hate to put it like that, but that's just literally what it is. And again, you can go on the app and you can see women. They're selling everything from toys to comics. You'll think it's a comic book stream and it's a woman and they're selling comics. Why? Because somebody else is thinking what I'm thinking. My pretty wife, my pretty daughter, my pretty girlfriend, let her sell it, and I can just run the behind the scenes of it. I mean, that's what I would do. I don't have that luxury.
Right, right. Now, tell what I'm saying, all the viewers, tuning in or just, coming back on the rerun to watch, let them know what was your first major haul, what did you pick up, and, what did you generate off of that haul as far as on the selling mode.
So, like I said, I picked up a collection last July. Um, Picked up a collection. It was like 50,000 magazines. Yeah. And I probably made I don't know, 100K off of it.
Mm,
120,000.
and that's all revenue. That's all incoming.
Yeah. And I did that in 6 months because I bought that shit in July. And I did that in like 6 months.
Now, let the people know how long did that product last, what I mean, as far as you
I've
selling on it, how
still,
long?
I've still got, like maybe 25% of it. The rest of it I sold.
Damn.
I still got 25%.
Man, he
Yeah.
been moving bricks over here.
Yeah.
Moving
Yeah.
bricks.
Yeah. I've been moving that shit, bro. So yeah, I mean,
No, that's what's
but,
up. That's what's up.
but yeah, the shit's
And
definitely moving.
as far as being a buyer on there, or saying just communicating with your fan base, what did you feel like is a good way to keep a rapport with your fan base? You know what I mean? Because some people, they just get on there more on some I'm me, selfish with the selling. You know what I'm saying? What's the best, tip that you could give them as far as getting to know their fan base, getting to know their bars, things
Well, I
like that.
mean, you have to be willing to invest the time. You have to be real because, like a lot of people, if you don't see success right away, you'll get discouraged from doing it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? So, like,
No, that's fact.
people will go and they'll have bad show, or they'll have 2 or 3 bad shows, and they'll be like, "Man, fuck this shit." I'll go back to working a regular job. I mean, it happens. It's happened to me before. I mean, I don't feel like that now. It's just there was a time when I was like, man, forget about this. I just go back to working for, Joe Schmo. But I mean, I ain't doing that.
Right. Now, what I'm saying, not trying to count pockets or nothing, but let the people know what would you making that you're not regular 9 to 5, and once you ended that, what you now like generate on an annual level on the whatnot too.
Well, I mean, I think last year, I think I finished with like 62 or 63K at my regular job. And then I made 130 and change on whatnot.
Ooh, nasty work.
130 and change.
Okay.
So
Now,
I quit. So I had to quit my full-time job because I was spending more time doing, whatnot in my own business than working.
okay. Now, we didn't talk about how to cook up the recipe. Now, let's add the ingredients. Now, let them know the benefits, you know what I'm saying, that come along with, owning your own business, being your own seller, you know what I'm saying, generating your own revenue. Let them know, what I'm saying, what's the beneficial points to that.
I mean, the benefits is, I mean, you're your own boss. So who doesn't love that?
Right.
But,
Right.
you get to make your own hours and shit. But at the same time, it's a gift and a curse because if you don't, you make your own hours. So if you sleep through it, you just slept through it.
Right.
So
Right.
like me, like I said, like, I only sleep like 4 hours a day. So like, I'm always working. I'm always running. There's always time, something to be done because there's always money to be made. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So,
Got you.
and and if you actually become successful, you have to spend as much time on your business as you can if you want to, if you want to keep being successful. You know,
Nah, that's real. That's real.
there are
You feel
people
me?
who, they'll go on a run and they'll be like, this month was great, and then they'll slack off. So by the summertime, your shit is dead. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. It's just like with being on the block. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't have the dopest product and you ain't on the block to move the product because you know what I'm saying. Yeah, the
Right.
dope is gonna sell itself, but at the same
Right.
time, you got to put in that
Right.
footwork to
You
get
got
that
to put
dope
the
to
work
move.
in. Right. And that'd be my issue. A lot of people don't want to put the footwork in to do it.
Right.
Like I
Well,
said, not every day you won't make $1 million. You got to realize that.
since you speaking on that, let the people know as far as how many people has reached out to you. You know what I'm saying, to get the recipe, but not really cooking, and they got the recipe.
Oh, a lot. I get people. I don't know. I probably get three people every week, 4 people a week that are asking me about this shit. Excuse my
Got
language.
you.
But
No,
yeah,
no,
a
you
ton of
good. It's
people.
Reckless
Three,
Podcast. You good
like
over here.
like 3 to 5 people every week. They asking, hey, do you have any pointers? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I mean, like I said, you just have to be willing to put the work in. It's all about putting the work in, just
No,
like
I
anything
feel
else.
that.
If you put the work in, you'll be successful at it in anything.
No, that's real. That's real. You feel me? So, as far as generating your own revenue, all of that. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let the people know as far as when it comes to tax season. You know what I'm saying? Hit them with that as far as what they can do with their revenue, what they can do with their own business as far as owning it.
Well, I mean, we kind of speedballing through a lot of this shit, but I mean, with your taxes, I mean, I would suggest getting a good tax accountant, or finding a good H&R Block person that you've been fucking with, and try and build a good rapport with them and talk to them about it, because they'll give you the best help you can get. You know what I mean? They'll give you the best. That's what I have. I have an actual accountant that we use, and
Okay.
she used to work at an H&R Block, but now she does her own private thing. And I mean, I pay her like $450 for the whole year. You know what I mean? And that might
Oh,
sound
that's
like a lot,
dope.
but if you go through H&R Block, I think they charge you $200 anyway.
Now, that's facts.
You
And
know
that's
what I
just for
mean?
that one consultation.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like I pay her a yearly fee, and I mean you can write the fees off because it's a business expense. So,
Man,
you know,
speaking of write-offs, I'm glad you brought that up, bro. Let the people know how much, man, let them know how much shit that you can actually write off. You feel? Because they probably hear write-offs like, hey, I ain't trying to get in trouble with you know what I'm saying, with Uncle Sam, whoopty whoop. Let them know how much of that they can write off, though, and what
well
things
if
that they
your
can write
business
off.
well, if your business is legit, like legitimate, and you have all of your proper paperwork, you can write off everything. Oh, you just got yours? Yeah, my homie, he just got his, he said. But yeah, if you're legitimate, you can write off everything. Anything that you do or you're using as far as for your business, which is, mileage on your car, the internet at your house, whatever, You need a new
Oh,
computer,
that's dope.
you buy the computer and you can save the receipt and use that as a business write off because it's a computer for your business. So really you just gotta, keep an inventory of all of your stuff. I would suggest getting, a good filing system, and then just keep a tab on it.
Right, right. Now let the people know that don't know. Let them know everything, like in detail as far as like what you're able to write off and shit come the end of the year. You feel me? Because people
Um,
hear it, but
oh, like a
the proof
detailed
is in the
thing, like,
pudding.
well, you can do, like I said, you can do your mileage. So that's mileage on your car, or rental car, your auntie's car, anybody's vehicle you're using for your business. You know what I'm saying? So like you can write all of those miles off, and the government gives you a certain amount of tax credits for that. So last year it was 64 cents per mile. This year I think it's 70 cents. It's either 70 or 72 cents per mile you'll get back as a write off. So if you've driven 12,000 miles times 70 cents, that's the amount of write off you'll get back. So if you owe you owe the government 12,000, and you know what I mean, you just have to start doing the numbers. But that's why I say keep a good tab on all of your information. They
Right.
say, people say, oh, saving the gas receipts and stuff. The only reason I actually save my gas receipts is to remember some of the places that I go, just in case I don't keep I try to keep a ledger of it on my calendar on my phone, but I keep that just as a reminder. Plus, any of the food that you eat, snacks, any of that shit, water that you have while you're doing your business, whether you're eating lunch on business hours or you're taking a trip cross country for your business, you can write all of that off. That includes Airbnb, hotels, you know what I'm saying, flights, all of that shit. You just have to be a legitimate business generating income.
Right. Right.
If you're generating income, you can do all of that. But if you try to do all of that and you ain't made no money, you talking about I done made 500, but you got about $30,000 worth of write offs. That's crazy.
No,
You
fact.
dig? It gotta make sense. You know what I mean? It's gotta make sense. So like I
No,
had
and
$40,000 worth of write offs last year. I thought it was crazy when I would hear people say that, because when you're young, high school, college, whatever, even as an adult, you'll hear people be like, oh yeah, I had $30,000 worth of write offs. I'm like, motherfucker, how? Like, bitch, where they do that at? Because I've been working
facts.
forever and I've never seen anybody write off 30 grand. But I wrote off like $46,000 last year. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn.
it makes
And
it makes sense. So yeah, like I said, you got to just be generating income.
out of that 46,000 that you wrote off, how much of that did you get back in revenue from your write offs?
Like like 12,000.
Oh, that's nasty work. That's nasty work. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. That's clean right there. That's hella clean. Now, as far as, business partners, or whatever, what's your, what I'm saying, what's your point of view? What's your opinion on, what I'm saying, working with a business partner itself?
I mean, I don't really believe in it.
Got you. Got you. So you feel like
I'm
me
not an
doing it, I'm
advocate
saying,
for no business
ingrown.
partners.
Yeah, so you feel like doing it in house is gonna be the best, what I'm saying, as far as how to utilize you, you know what I mean, for the revenue that you want to get, the fan base you want to get, you know what I'm saying? You feel like just growing it in house and not really having anyone to outsource through, what I'm saying, is pretty much the best plan.
Yeah. Because sooner or later, it's just like everything else, man. Somebody's gonna get butthurt about something. It's just like
Yeah,
having employees. If you're paying somebody and they're not, and you don't feel like they're holding up their end of the bargain, you're gonna be sour about it. And the same
yeah.
thing as the other person. If they feel like they working their ass off, but they see you on vacation, that employee gonna be like, man, fuck this. He ain't paying me enough for this.
No, I feel that. Plus, somebody might not have the same vision that you have, or put
Right.
in the same amount of footwork that you put in. You might
Facts.
be doing on 110% level, and they giving you 75%. Do you really want to pay somebody
Exactly.
for
Do you really want to
75%
pay
of
somebody
footwork?
for that? Right. That's why I say that I just don't sleep. I'd rather
No,
not pay
no,
anybody and I just won't sleep and I know it'll get done right. I
no. I
just won't
feel
sleep.
that. All right,
so
you
I,
know. Now we gave them some of the recipe, let them know as far as like, getting on the site, what's the things that you can do on the site, whether that be the giveaways, whether that be, setting your bids, just as far as how the app work, what I'm saying? Give them the details on how the app work.
well, I mean, best thing to do would be to download it. You can use our code if you want to add the code in there. But yeah, get on there and just kind of play with it. Go on there and just kind of explore at first. Go on there and explore and see how you want to do it. Because that's another kind of, it's subjective. How you set it up and how you do all that depends on what you're doing and what you're selling.
Right. So it's kind of like, what I'm saying, just watch how the block moving and just, kind of get in where you fit in.
Right. Or try, I'm more of a watch how the block moving and I'm going to try and, I'm going to try and do something else. Because like I said before, if you're doing it, if everybody's selling blue tops, you can't go on the block selling blue tops too. Ain't nobody going to buy that shit. You might get two buyers.
Right. Right.
Like I said, there was a guy on selling right now and he only made one sale in half an hour because that's not your lane. That's my lane. You know what I'm saying? So to speak. And that's not just me. That's in any business. It's like you could try to open up the same business on the same block as whomever, whether it's you, him, her, or your next door neighbor. Like apparently you didn't know the business because you're gonna be wasting your time.
Right.
So
No, that's real.
invest the time in knowing the business. Don't say I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna buy a box full of cards and think you're gonna make $1 million. That's not how this works. That's not
Right,
how this works, bro.
right.
So I
Now,
mean, I would fucking advocate with whoever is listening to this on YouTube. Don't do that.
fact,
Don't
that's a
get on
no-no.
Facebook Marketplace or go to a fucking garage sale and grandpa's like, oh, I got 4 boxes of comics. Do you want them? And think you gonna be the kingpin of comic. That's not how this shit works. You feel
Right,
me? That's not
right.
how this shit works. So that's why I say do the research on what you're trying to sell and then jump into your own lane.
Now, when you did start, having your fan base, you started pushing product. What's something that you noticed, once you hit your peak, or even have you even hit your peak yet?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't feel like I hit a peak yet because I'm still growing. I'm
That's
still pushing. You
facts.
feel me? I still feel like it's levels to be had that I ain't touched yet. You know what I'm saying? I know people making 50,000 a weekend on the app. I ain't did that
Ooh,
yet. You feel me? I
ooh.
need a weekend like that. So until I'm at that point, I'ma still be hungry. You feel me?
Nah, that's
Like,
real. That's real. You feel me?
you
He on
feel
that. He
me?
on that big beach. He on that BMF series.
Right, right, right.
You
So
feel me?
that's how I look at it, bro. I'm still hungry. Like I'm always, yeah, nah. I'm trying to push to the next level
Now,
until
for
I'm,
an
yeah.
example, now give the people an example. You know what I'm saying? Like night before last, let people know how many magazines you sold, what you end up generating that night. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that.
I
Because
mean,
I was in the building, so I already know what
yeah.
he
I
hit
mean, I don't
for.
know. I mean, we sold like 200 and something magazines that one night. It was like 200 and something. I think we sold 200 the one time I got off and got back on and sold another 100 or something like that. So it was 300 that day. And then another day we did like 100 and something on one part of the day, and then another 150. So we've been averaging like 150, 200, 150, 300 magazines in every couple of nights. Or, every night
Mm,
it's around 150, 200 magazines. And I mean, just that, people don't have to, I don't have to tell them how much I made, but you can imagine. I mean, I start all of my bids off at $4 a piece. $4 times any, make up a number. There you go.
right, right. So if you want to
But
take 4 times 100, you already know that's 4K right there.
4 times a hundo is yeah, that's 400.
You feel me?
Yeah,
On some straight nasty work, just acting a
yeah.
fool
So
on it. You know what I mean? So let them know, you know what I'm saying, like how you started formulating, like as far as your time slots and all of that. You feel me? Go ahead and give them the setup on the time slots and shit.
well, I mean, really, my thought was I live on the East Coast. When do people put their kids to bed? That's how I thought about it, especially with selling adult content. When I was doing the comics, I started at 9 o'clock too, and that's only because I thought, hey, people out here, I had 2 young kids at the time. Let me get your lighter. I had 2 young kids, so I'm thinking, when do I put my kids to bed? 8:30, 9 o'clock. All right, cool. So if I start on my shows at 9, because I figure, most people they chilling, they relaxing, they on the couch vibing, unwinding from their day around 9. Most people 8, 9 o'clock. If you have children, so that's I start doing all my shows at 9 just because it was convenient for me. And then
Right,
doing the
right.
adult content, I thought the same. I thought the same thing. You try to be logical and try to make it make sense. Like I don't want to be running, adult content at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Like, people be at work, you know, I don't feel like you would get the right amount of eyes just because this is a phone based app. So most people are buying off of their phone. What are people doing, between 12 and 6 o'clock? They're usually walking around outside, they're at work, they're picking up their kids, they're at baseball games, recitals. So, nobody wants to necessarily be seeing, even it's subconscious. You don't want to be walking around buying Playboys or any adult magazine, and then like grandma sees you while you're at the volleyball game. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
So, so it's all about the customer you're trying to sell to as well. So I like running at night because most of the time the freaks come out.
No, that's real. No, that's
You
real,
feel
bro.
me?
That's
So
real.
so I run a show at 9, and I've been doing them at midnight every couple of nights just because they out.
Right, right now, tell people, you know what I'm saying, what was the purpose and what was the reason for you, you know what I'm saying, running the rerun, you know what I'm saying, the second show.
Well, the second show is to accommodate the people on the West Coast because I know people who live out there and they're like, hey, well, it's only 9, 10 o'clock here and there ain't nobody on. And I mean, there are people on, but there's nobody on selling the things that I'm selling at the moment. Well, it's me now. But hearing that, it's like the sauce. You add more salt to it. If you need salt, you just nigga. Me adding more salt
Right.
means I'm gonna get on there and I'm gonna bring the supply to the demand.
Right. And like I'm gonna let the viewers know, what I'm saying? This ain't just my bro, you feel me, where I'm just tapping into his selling thing, what I'm saying, tapping into whatnot, you feel me, just to watch what he doing. Man, he didn't gave me the ball, so I'm trying to run for the touchdown. Like I just set up my own sellers app, what I'm saying? I'll have my own merchandise, I have my own inventory coming soon, you know what I mean? My page is already set up, so I'm not just speaking, what I'm saying, on it. I'm actually about to be jumping in cannonball
Right.
style. You feel me? Like, man, I'm trying to cause a major splash in this shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also not taking from what the bro doing. You know what I'm saying? I want to take the recipe and cook up, but I ain't trying to cook up the same lasagna. He cooking it up the same way. You know what I mean? Instead of the lasagna, hey, let's come with the fettuccine and Alfredo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Something
facts.
like that. We go take the recipe, but we go flip the recipe. You know what I'm saying? Cook up something that's gonna work beneficial for me and shit. So like when I'm tapping in with the bro and I'm watching how it's moving, man, look, I'm talking about he put up a magazine. He probably put it up for 10 seconds. He put a 10-second counter on it. Boom. If it fly off the shelf, it fly off the shelf. If not, we on to the next. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna spend 20 minutes on the same magazine or the same item trying to, force
Right,
somebody to
right,
buy it. It's
right.
like, no,
Correct,
they not fucking with it. Cool. On to the next. We can always come back to this shit. You know what I'm
correct,
saying?
correct. Yeah,
Shit like that.
the human attention span. We've all been trained by the internet now to have a 15, 20 second attention span. I don't know if you realize that or whomever might be listening, but like that's just what we've all been trained to do. Whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything's turned into reels or a YouTube short or a little clip or you know what I mean? So like you get these even little news clips. Like it's all, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds max. Why? Because
Hey,
people's attention span is short now.
nah, that's real.
Like people's
Everybody
attention
wants
span
shit
is so short.
microwave. Yeah, everybody wants shit
Exactly.
microwave.
Exactly. Exactly.
Nobody want to
Exactly.
get in the kitchen and cook a home cooked meal, be sweating their ass off. You feel me? Boiling noodles, browning the ground beef. You know what I'm saying? No, they want to go to the store and just cop a motherfucking thing of SpaghettiOs or a thing of hamburger help or something short, simple, and
Correct.
quick and to the
Correct.
point. You
Correct.
feel me?
Correct.
And like just for me being in his life, man, I be seeing a bro pumping and dumping magazines, something crazy, bro, something crazy. And a lot of the times, it's a lot of the same buyers that he have in there buying two, three, four. Matter of fact, let the people know how many that old boy bought that time that you were talking to me about.
Man, I've had I've had shows. Excuse me.
Nah, go
I
ahead,
have
get
shows.
your
I mean,
smoke on.
just the other day, we had multiple buyers buy 30 books or more. Just the other day, it was multiple
Damn.
buyers. They all bought 30 or more books.
That's crazy, bro.
So I
You take
mean,
four times three, you already know what that is. That's just 120 from one buyer. That's 120 somebody that spent out their pocket, just one buyer. So just imagine you got three regulars, four regulars spending, you know what I'm saying, or copying 30, 40 magazines a pop. Just that
and
right
it's not
there in
right.
them
It's
four
anything.
bars. You
Right.
good.
It's anything. Right. And you can just apply that to anything. You know what I mean? You
You
just have to
feel
willing
me?
to be put. You have to be willing to put that legwork in. That's all it is.
Now, let the people know what made you decide to go from the comic lane of it, you know what I'm saying, from the animated to the adult lane. You know what I'm saying? Let them know, the transition in that.
Well, I mean, I transitioned into it like in a month probably, but like I said, the like comic book lane because I was doing comics and stuff. That lane kind of started to get cold because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people doing that. A lot of people doing that. So it's like shit. I got to figure out something to stand out. I got to do something to did something different. And like I said earlier, I just so happened to have them mags and I sold out. So I was like, shit, let me see if they want more. So I got more and I sold those too. So I'm like, well, shit, okay. I could keep getting these. If y'all gonna keep buying them, I'll keep getting them. So, I just kept buying, and then I hit that mother load, and I ain't looked back since. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I feel that. I feel that. Now, let them know, you know what I'm saying, as far as the shop, how you have the shop on there for, if you just don't want to be in the, you know what I'm saying, live, or you can't make it to the live, let them know, you know what I'm saying, that they do
Yeah,
got a
fuck
shop
with it.
in there too.
That'd be dope. Yeah, we got a shop in there too.
You feel me? So,
I've been a
how you
lot of my
got your
things I
shop
do
set
off
up?
the. I don't. I've been trying to do better with setting the shop up because I don't have a lot of things posted in the shop because I just do a lot of things live off the auction. But like I'm gonna start posting more of the more higher end, more expensive items, the more exclusive items that people don't necessarily want to pay $20 for because it's like a $500 item.
Right.
I post those in there,
Yeah,
and
because
I'm
last time
starting.
I was
Yeah,
in there, when I was in there with you last night, I seen old boy in them asking about that penthouse that you had up there in the background, and you
right,
was like,
right.
bro, if I flip this, I got to start the bid off at a hundo.
I have to. Yeah, you have to just because
And
of what I paid for it. So, and it is what it is. Sometimes you have to do that. This shit ain't for everybody.
no, that's hey, that's real. I mean, that's just like going to a real auction. If they auction off autographed bats or autographed baseballs, if they are auction off a Kobe Bryant jersey that's autographed, everybody's not gonna have a Kobe Bryant ticket in their pocket to be able to be a part
Facts.
of that auction.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing that people come and go. And just like how he asked and he didn't have the money, I'll have somebody tomorrow who will come and ask and be like, all right, bet, run it.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So
Now,
it's never a problem.
Now, give some people some do's and don'ts to stay away from as far as being a seller. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be do's and don'ts to anything that you do, just like in the dope game. You know what I'm saying? You don't hustle where you sleep at. You don't get high off your own supply. You don't sell no fucking credit. You know what I'm saying? Because a crackhead ain't paying you back. Forget it. Words a biggie. You know what I'm saying?
Type
Shit
shit.
like that.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
let them know some of the do's and don'ts. You know what I'm saying? As far as being a seller.
I mean, the best thing you could do is to think as if you're a buyer. Think like a buyer. If you're buying whatever product it is you're selling from yourself, would you like how you picked it up? Would you like how the process went? Would you
Right.
like? Did it go smoothly? Did you ship it off? If it was to get, because everybody knows the post office sucks. So if you was to send it, it get some sort of damage or whatever you're shipping it in, whether it's a bag, it's some bullshit ass floppy box, if it gets wet in the elements, because you ship things across the country, you ship things across the world. If it gets wet, will it ruin whatever it is this person just bought from me? So always be thinking like that. That's because that's the best way to lose buyers. They buy something from you, even if it's only $5. They get it and it's destroyed or it's wet and it's fucked up. It's like I'm not going back to him. He don't care. Even if you do care, you have to over care. For real.
Right. No, no, but
Like
that's real.
I box shit and I put bubble wrap on stuff because it's like you might think, well, it's only a $5 magazine, but that person spent $200. You know,
Right, right. Now, I mean, it ain't no different than us being sneakerheads. How many times have me and you complained about boxes coming from StockX looking fucked up, boxes from
right,
Nike
right,
coming
right,
smashed the fuck
right,
up and shit.
right.
You
Same
feel
thing,
me?
same thing, same exact thing. So
No, that's real. That's real. And speaking of that, you know what I'm saying, let people know what's the best way to package whatever you are shipping off. You know what I'm saying? Because some people really don't know how to send shit off the correct way. You know what I mean?
that's what we're doing. That's what I'm about to do. What'd you say?
I said, let the people know, what's the best ways of shipping shit off, as far as how to package your stuff, because some people
Well, I
really don't
mean,
know how to ship
well, that
shit off
really,
because they know how to buy
well,
shit,
well,
but not
that's well,
necessarily
that's
ship
also
it.
why I said, know your buyers. Oh yeah, know your buyers. And I mean, hell, buy some of the stuff that you plan. If you plan on selling fucking toys, buy some stuff online and see how they're shipping it. See the
Right.
people that see what the competition is doing, and then try and one up them niggas. Use my language.
Nah, that's real though. That's real. And then
I'll hit you
speaking
when
of
I'm
the
done.
shipping, let them know the shipping process, how to do it once, say you start selling on the app as far as, how to get the labels and you know what I'm saying,
Well,
addresses and
that's all of that stuff. All of that stuff is self-generated on the app. So all that stuff. Only thing you're gonna have to do is print out the labels. All of the addresses and the shipping and all that is generated on the app. You just have to you'll get on the app and they do an orientation and you'll see it. You just have to know how much, whatever you're selling, you have to know the weight of it, and then you just put it in a box and send it. Print the label off. Done.
Right, right. And as far as shipping, let the people know what's the best items as far as picking up that you're going to need to be shipping correctly in a correct manner and fast and prompt. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody knows. Like me, for example, I just assumed picking up a printer was the best way. You was like, no, bro. You could pick up a printer, but let them know what type of printer they need.
Oh
Let them
yeah,
know what
okay. So
type
I
of
see what you're
scales they
saying.
need.
I see what you're saying. Well, there's a bunch of different things. It depends on what you're selling. You can get a kitchen scale. If you're selling larger items, you get a scale according to what you're selling, and then get boxes, bubble wrap, shipping paper. I use a lot of shipping paper.
Okay.
And I use a lot of boxes, and that's really it. But I'm selling, I'm selling paper goods. Like if you're selling clothes, you might want to use, you might want to put it in a bag and then put it in a box just in case it gets wet. Like, it's
Right,
all about,
right,
that's what I'm saying. It's all about what you're selling, who you're selling to, you know, that kind of thing. You want to keep your sellers happy. You want to keep your buyers happy because most of the time they're the people. Like I have a lot of recurrent buyers, lots of them, hundreds.
facts, bro. Facts.
I have hundreds of recurrent buyers. So, you want to try and keep them happy. I'm not an advocate for bending over backwards for motherfuckers, but sometimes you have to, finesse.
Right,
Does
right.
that make sense? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Sometimes you got to do some shit that you don't normally do, just because you know he gonna spend a ticket with you. He gonna spend a 50 shot. He gonna spend 100 shot. He gonna spend a
right.
40 shot. You know what I mean? Things like that. And speaking of shipping, let the people know everywhere that you just ship to, whether it be in country or out of country.
Well, with the good thing about your phone apps, they're international. So I've shipped things overseas. I've shipped to almost every single state in the United States. Most territories, Puerto Rico, Guam, Hawaii, everywhere. Alaska. Literally, I think I've shipped to every state in the United States, including Canada. I don't know, Australia. Oh, I've shipped a couple of things overseas, like and literally almost like not everywhere, not Africa, but like Europe, a lot of places, a lot of
That's dope.
Canada.
That's
I
dope.
haven't shipped anything to Mexico, but yeah, most Canada and stuff.
Right. And let the people know, when you are a seller, how long does it take for the money to hit your account? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Well, when you first become a seller, the app they walk you through it during the orientation. So, there's a whole orientation process. They tell you about the trust and safety stuff, what you can and can't do. Um, the first few weeks, it takes a couple of days for the money to hit your account because they want you to be a verified seller. What does that mean? They want you to get a bunch of orders in and out without any issues. So they want you to make, I think it's 1,000 sales. They want you to complete 1,000 sales before you'll get instant payout. Instant payout is where it instantly hits your account. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, most definitely,
So
most
yeah.
definitely.
So the quicker you can get 1,000 sales, the quicker you can get instant payout. If not, it might take a couple months. It took me probably 4 or 5 months, but I
Okay.
wasn't. I was still fresh in the game. I was still working a full time job. It was kind of, it was part time, so I didn't need the money right away. It was fun. It's still fun. I don't really, I'm not hard pressed. So, but yeah,
Right,
some
right.
people, they're not used to that. But yeah, you're gonna have to wait a couple of days. People have to get their packages and stuff received from you before the app will release the money. But the
Right.
money's never
Now,
not from. Right.
now when it comes to the instant payout, you know what I'm saying? Let them know what it is as far as, what I'm saying, with instant payout and when that hits your account. You feel me? Because I know the instant payout is completely different than when you first started and you haven't hit the
I
instant
mean,
payout yet.
yeah. Once you hit the instant payout, once you print the labels, the money hits your account. So
Good.
that's
So
the
you just
difference.
printing
That's the
off
difference.
labels and just hear Cash App symbols. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
yeah,
ding.
yeah. I call my brother. Usually I'll stream till 11:30, and I call my brother at midnight, and I tell him I'm printing the money.
Nah, that's dope. That's
He be
dope.
like,
So say,
bro, what you doing? I'm like, printing the money. Because, I'm printing off my thermal. He'll hear my thermal printer going in the background. And every time it prints, that's one of the orders going through. And, the money hitting your account. Just like that.
nah, and that's dope. So I mean, say you have to print off 100 labels. If you even sold it as $3 a piece, you know what I'm saying? That's $300 that you literally just printed off, and you about to ship out. You feel me? But you getting that 300 before you even ship that out.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I
And look,
said too when I heard it. That's why I was like, man, I gotta hurry up and get to 1,000 sales.
no, that's facts, bro. Because everybody want instant gratification. You know what I mean?
Right,
Nobody want to wait
of
for
course,
their bread.
but it's a motivation to help your ass get to 1,000 sales, and you'll have that bread instantly.
No,
So
that's
it should
fact.
be, motivate these mofos.
No, that's facts. So that's facts. So let the people know, how do you go about getting your inventory? You know what I mean? Because everybody, will pick up inventory or do it differently. Let the people know
Well,
how you go about getting
that's
your inventory.
you just said it. It's different for everybody because how I get it and how my other little partner gets it is different. He knows a guy in the industry and he gets magazines from like a wholesaler, I think.
Ooh,
I get mine because I'm always out and about on the ground, at flea markets. I'm always going to estate sales. So like, that's the best thing I could tell you. So
nah, that's dope.
that's again something you need to consider when you do become a seller. Because say you buy, whomever is listening to this or whomever is watching, um, if you buy a collection from somebody, you buy a collection of records or VHS tapes, it's 500 tapes, 1,000 tapes. Like, okay, great, I can make my 1,000 sales. But after you get your 1,000, then what?
Right,
So
right.
I'm always looking for inventory. I'm always talking to people. I have a network of folks that are always looking for me, literally like across the country. Like a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I was somewhere and I got it's like a briefcase that they only would sell at the Playboy Players Club, like the Playboy clubs that they have, Chicago. I think there was one in St. Louis, uh,
Oh, that's dope. That's
New York,
dope.
and it's like a 2 foot magazine book, but it's in a briefcase and it's like 60 pounds. And he's in Indiana and he found it and I cashed out him the money and he bought it for me and but you have to I've been building a network of people to help me get the things that I need. You know,
Now, when you traveling and stuff to pick up product, you know what I'm saying, pick up inventory, are you using your personal vehicle? And if not, how are you doing it?
uh, sometimes I use my personal vehicle. Other times I just use a rental car or a rental truck or a fucking U-Haul, whatever it takes, baby.
Right.
Whatever it
And
takes.
all of that.
Most of the
And
time, since I live in Florida, I have to travel outside of Florida. Like I said, I have a network of people who buy for me. So like my brother, he drives trucks, so he'll pick up inventory for me across the country when he's driving, and he'll go places and see stuff, and then I'll get a rental truck. I'll get a truck. I'll rent it, and then I'll drive to Atlanta.
oh, that's dope. That's dope. And with you buy, with you copping the rental, you're able to write that off at the end of the year. The rental fees, the gas for the rental, the tire changes, rotation, oil changes, all of that.
Correct. But you don't do that for a rental. You just drive it and give it back. But yeah, if you're using your personal vehicle, yes, 100%. Write-offs, any maintenance, vehicle maintenance, that includes everything.
Oh, that's
Like now,
dope.
I'm in my personal vehicle. I'm gonna use, I'm using my personal vehicle now, so the mileage that I'm using is going to be written off. Tires. Oh, I just got the oil change a few days ago. Yeah, all that.
That's hard. And now you said annually last year you made 136K just off of being a seller.
Yes.
That's crazy work, bro. And if y'all don't know, 136K, we talking about RNs. We talking about, administrators. You know what I'm saying? We talking about a different tax bracket. When you making 100K and plus a year, and this is all what you bringing in, come on, bro. You can bug cock it into a 9 to 5. You are your 9 to 5.
Right. And that's why I was like, yeah, I'm going to just do this for me. because I made over double than my actual 9 to 5. So it was a
Right.
no brainer. You know.
And like me, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is the bro, but I done been in his lives. I didn't seen him make 1,200 in a night and just cash out, get off the lob, but come back and then make another 800, you know what I'm saying, on a rerun when he go lob again for 3 hours. Like, man, the bro done just made damn near 2 racks, man, in a matter of
Yeah.
fucking 8 hours. You feel me? So while y'all clocking and making $68, $75 in an 8 hour shift, nigga, y'all could turn around and be making 15 to 2K in a fucking 8 hour shift, getting on whatnot, being a
Bro,
seller, making your
don't
bread.
even don't even that's thinking small. Whatever you're doing, I like I said, I know people who make 50,000 a weekend.
Damn.
Like don't even worry about my little 1,200. You can be whoever is listening to this or watching this. Think five
Right,
thousand think 5,000 a day. You know what I mean?
right. So that means in
My
a
little
month
shit is
time,
small.
right? So that means in the 6 month span, they did made damn near half a ticket on half a
Yeah,
milli, bro.
yeah,
No Little
yeah,
Wayne, a milli, a
yeah.
milli, a milli. You
No,
feel me?
I'm serious. Yeah, like I'm serious.
Nah, dead
And
ass
all
and
of these
shit.
things, you guys can verify by just going on the app and just scrolling. You'll see it. You'll see some places. You'll see some people where they only have 5 people, and then you'll see some people. It says 100,000 sold, and they've got 1,000 people in their room.
That's crazy work. That's
Yep.
crazy work.
Yep.
You know, and I'm gonna let y'all know, you know what I'm saying, after this log is over, I'm gonna get Earth's link, you know what I'm saying, to his whatnot. His link will be in the description. So if y'all want to tap on that link, go over there, see what the bro doing, just to get a feel for, you know what I'm saying, the spill, just to see how they over there
Definitely.
networking and jerking, you know what I'm saying. Y'all can start formulating y'all own plot and scheme, you know what I'm saying, on how to get y'all bread, how to, you know what I'm saying, get on there what y'all want to sell, you know, even down to your setup, you know, let people know about your setup, bro, because you got a hard ass setup. I'm not gonna front. I like the way that your shit is set up on how you sell your shit. So, you know, even let them know about the setup and shit.
Like, yeah, we talked about the setup in the beginning. Like, you can set it. I set it up because I only sell magazines. So I have a small, a little small setup inside of an old inside of like an old mail container that they have at like the gas stations and stuff, where you can pull it down and you get your mail out of it. Granddad never used to get it, except it's covered. My daughter's covered it in like comic book art. And yeah, I just I have LED lights in there, and I mean you guys will see it if you come in the page. I have it set up like that, and yeah, I run single items out of there. Yeah,
And like, bro, man, bro is funny as hell. Bro got a personality out of this world. So like when he do his lives and he's doing his selling thing, he's not even on camera. He's just throwing the magazine up there, running a 10-second timer. Hey, you know what I'm saying? He go chop it up with the people, talk about what he
yeah,
got up there for sale. You know what I'm saying? He got
right,
his own
right.
little
Because you
catchphrases, all of that shit.
right,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
that's the good part. You don't have to. You don't have to. If you're a person who's not necessarily bubbly and all that, like you don't have to show your face, or you can. It's about
Right.
camera angles. Like you can have the camera wide, and you can show you can show a whole room if you want, or you can just show a table with specific items. It's still wide open. It's all in how you want to do your own business. It's all about
Exactly.
doing your own thing, getting in your own lane, and not worrying about what the next person is doing.
Right.
That's the
Now
best advice I could give you.
I can say if you got personality, hey, you funny as hell. You could throw jokes back and forth, shit like that. Man, your bars is gonna love that shit. You know what I'm saying? The more you interact with your bars, you know they feel like they know you. They it's not just a homie. They ain't just a seller that they buying from. They buying from a friend. They buying from somebody they could trust. They buying from somebody they could fuck with. So even if somebody's selling the same thing you selling, they go check for you first just because they fuck with you as a personality. Just like with a radio station, you might listen to a certain radio station not just because of the music, but you fuck with the DJ heavy. The DJ funny as shit. He throw on what you really want to hear. He tap in with the peoples, shit like that. So a personality don't think that it's all about looks because a personality can go a long fucking way.
Right, right. Like you said, I don't even show my face. Most people don't know what I look like. So, it's not about that, right? It's about, having a little personality, having a good time, and giving people something they actually want. whether that's a product or a collectible or food. Like there's no, and I try to tell people also, there's really no wrong answer. Excuse my language. I can barely get my words out, but I don't,
Nah, you good.
there's no real wrong answer to this. You know,
No, it's just, whatever your niche is, whether that be personality, whether you might
correct.
have a bad female on your team. She's just, modeling the clothes and you're the personality figure, selling the clothes. She's just a pretty face just for the modeling. She ain't saying nothing. She ain't doing nothing. She just trolling and spinning while you winning and grinning. And everybody cool. You making your bread, everything's on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm gonna leave his link in the description. So anytime y'all want to go over there, catch him on live, go over there, shop with him, cop from him, get you some, animated comic books, or get you some adult magazines, whatever your lane is. Just like this morning, he was on there selling Sports Illustrators. Yeah, I caught me a Bo Jackson. You feel me? I caught me a throwback classic Bo Jackson Sports Illustrated because I'm a super Bo Jackson fan. I got a Bo Jackson jersey. You feel me? Home of the Kansas City Royals. You already know. Got that tatted on me just like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not just a homie that get on there and just look at what he doing, try to get another recipe to cook up. No, I'm over there copping from the bro. Y'all already know. Support is free 99. It don't cost nothing to support. You know what I'm saying? So don't just get on there and just look at what your homie doing. No, shop with your homie. Cop something from your homie. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no different when people used to do mixtapes and they selling CDs out the trunk of the car. Nigga, don't go and burn my CD. Nah, nigga, buy a motherfucking CD. Don't be that nigga. Be my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. You feel me? But we didn't reach the hour mark. Y'all already know, man. We do this for an hour. We get on, we get off, man. I just gave y'all the whatnot recipe. So however y'all want to do it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got a formulation. Y'all got a recipe to cook up. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the bro coming through, tapping in with me. You know what I mean? Because for him, time is money. You feel me? Time is definitely money. You feel me? Because he got orders to ship out. He got a site to get on, sell some more, drop some more, cop some more, shop some more. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the bro rolling through. You already know what it is, man. Just like that, I'm gonna leave his link in the description, man. If y'all want to get on whatnot and look him up, it's Earth One Card. No, it's Earth One Comics and Collectibles. You know what I'm saying? Let me get that right. Earth One Comics and Collectibles, all one word. Look him up on whatnot. Go over there, shop with him, rock with him, or just peep the recipe and look at how he cooking. Come up with your own recipe. You know what I'm saying? And get in the
Yes,
kitchen.
sir.
You already know what it is. So before we jump out the building, go ahead, shout yourself out, man. Let them know where they can find you at. Even though I just did
Yes,
that, but
sir.
still, let them know where they can find you at. Go ahead, take
Yeah,
us
no
home.
doubt. Definitely. Earth One Comics and Collectibles. You already know. Catch me on Whatnot pretty much every single night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then at midnight, you know what I'm saying, on Cali time, baby. Also, we about to start a Discord, and I'm thinking we're going to crank a Patreon. But those things are coming. I'll keep you in the loop on that as well.
Oh yeah, I'm tapping in with that. Oh yeah, don't forget, man. The bro got merch coming up soon too. You feel me? So if you
Yes,
want
we
the
also got the
Earth
merch
One,
coming.
yeah, yeah. If you want that Earth One, you know what I'm saying, T-shirt. Hey, the bro got multiple logos on deck. You feel me? We ain't gonna say how we got the logos, but he got the logos. He cooking up on them too. So he about to have merch coming up soon. So if you want the stickers, refrigerator magnets, T-shirts, you feel me? Coffee mugs. Hey man, he about to do it real
Yes,
big,
sir.
bro. He
Yeah,
about to do it real
and that's
big.
the bro and his wife cooked that up. So definitely shout out to you and the wife out for that.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah, man,
saying?
no
For
doubt. You know what I'm
sure.
saying? No doubt, bro. You already know, man. Anything I can plug you on to help you with, you know what I'm saying, gaining, traction, making more bread. Hey, you already know, man. I don't need no percentage, man. It's just off the love. You know how we rock, bro.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, hey, we about to be up and out. Earth, hey, as always, I appreciate you taking out your time to come and kick it with your bro, because I know time is money. You know what I'm saying? You on the roll right now, chipping, dipping, get that money on flipping. You know what I mean? Just like that.
Yes, sir.
So, hey, y'all go
All
over there,
right,
shop
fam.
with
I
them.
appreciate it. Real talk.
Hey, no doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna put your link in the description, bro. So go ahead, text me your link to your whatnot, so I can slap that in the description after the live is over, so that way the people can come over there, shop with you, and rock with you. And I appreciate y'all, man. Everybody that tapped in, y'all know what it is, man. We up, we out, man. Reckless Gang, Reckless Podcast in a motherfucking building, just like that, man. Do what you do, but always keep it reckless.